Judges of 3 regional community courts of African countries include the East African Courts, the Ecowas Courts, and African Courts of Human and People Rights. They have meted in Arusha City for 3 days to discuss the way to participate in strengthening the foundation of managing different rights of citizens and environments in member countries. The judges of those courts here explain the importance of the session.
So this tripartite discussion is important for all 3 courts. They are the African Court of Human and People's Rights, the Ecowas Court of Justice, and the East African Court of Justice. It is important for the 3 courts because it enables them to share their experiences. They try to see how they could discuss their decisions, as judgments which are rendered. They also try to see how they could seek common funding. Therefore, this meeting is meant to hold discussions which will enable the 3 courts to discuss, see how they can implement their decisions, see how they could share experiences, see how they could seek funding for the funding of their respective institutions. So environmental rights are human rights. When you look at these environmental rights, they have direct relationship with human beings because it is a duty of the community to ensure that the environment is protected. Where the environment is not protected, human beings are affected, and this is considered as a violation of human rights. Now, there are international treaties which have been signed, international environmental treaties. For instance, there's one which was signed in Bamako, in Mali, on the environment, and this treaty is indeed very important. And if you violate these environmental treaties, you are violating human rights, and it could even lead to a prison term because you are actually violating human rights, because environmental rights are human rights. There's an African country, for instance, which allowed toxic waste to be dumped in its coast. This toxic waste led to the death of so many people. So you can see that this is environmental contamination which led to the death of human beings. Hence, you can see the link between the environment and human rights. So if you listened to my speech, I'd already raised this issue because I asked the question, how does the Ecowas Court of Justice do to ensure that its judgments are implemented? How does the East African Court of Justice do to ensure that its decisions are implemented? And of course, how does the African Court do to ensure that its decisions are implemented? These are discussions which were already held in the past, but it is important for us to hold these discussions again to find a way forward to ensure that our decisions are implemented. I'm Ouattara Berigbe. I'm from Côte d'Ivoire, and I'm the Vice President of the Ecowas Court of Justice. Now, talking about the Ecowas Court of Justice, so this meeting is very, very important because it brings judges together. It is important for judges to talk to one another. It is important for judges to share their experiences. It is important for judges to look towards the same direction in their judicial activities. As a matter of fact, we are here to hold this meeting, and thanks to this meeting, it will be possible for us to express our views, our difficulties, and come up with common solutions to our problems. Judges have to work together to be able to compare their jurisprudence, that is, the decisions which are made by these judges, and that way we'll be able to work towards the same direction. This is important, a very important meeting for judges, and it enables us to work together.
In short, is that this is our second judicial dialogue between the African Court of Human and People's Rights, the East African Court of Justice, and the Ecowas Court of Justice. The first dialogue was held in Zanzibar in 2022, and now this is the second dialogue, which involved the Continental Court and also our 2 regional courts, the Ecowas Court of Justice and the East African Court of Justice. We are here to discuss about 3 most important issues. One is the issue of right to education, right to the human rights, and also right on environment, but also during our session, we also discuss about the intake from the first dialogue up to our second dialogue, and also we will be discussing on financing our judiciaries, because sometimes the challenge of the judiciaries is about financial challenges. Also, we will be discussing on the challenges facing financial challenges on facing our judiciaries. It's very important because as judges we must sit together and discuss on our job, because our job is making sure that our judiciaries, we are implementing our laws, especially for us. For example, the East African Court of Justice is that we must also see how we are implementing the treaty and the law of the community. So we'll be discussing on the jurisprudence, on how we can exchange our experiences, how we can exchange also our good practices. So it's a good meeting that at least in 3 courts we sit together and discuss our issue.
Yes, no, we've had a very long-standing engagement with regional courts and sub-regional courts and commissions in Africa, and we think they play a crucial role when it comes to the implementation of human rights in Africa. So I think that is the basic rationale for our cooperation and our involvement in this activity. I think my experience is, having worked on all continents of the world, that everywhere challenges regarding human rights are faced, even in my own country, Sweden. So the importance here, I think, is that we try to learn from one another, build on experiences and lessons learned from elsewhere, which I think this event is a very good opportunity to do that. Yeah, I think human rights is critical for development. I think if you break down what development actually means to people, I think it is to have food, housing, work, and so on. And these are all rights. Right to food, right to adequate housing. And at the same time, you also need protection of your other rights, your freedom to express yourself, access to justice, and so on. So I think if rights are denied, there is no development.
Ili kuwa mwanafamilia bora wa Global TV, usisahau kusubscribe, like, kushare na kucomment. Baada ya kusubscribe, bonyeza alama ya kengele ili kupata taarifa kwa kila video inayopanda Global TV Online.